Hi, I'm Pastor Nolan Soldahl, and this is going to be the first video of, I hope, many. So this channel is me going to be musing, rambling about Christian life, Christian thoughts, specifically thoughts on culture, thoughts on the world, thoughts on really Jesus' teachings. I mean, there's so many things that we can consider are good, and there's so many things in this world that we know for a fact can be bad as well. And it seems to me a lot of the time we forget what exactly good is and what exactly bad is. And we have to start maybe breaking those terms down a little more than we want to, or often we feel like we have to. And we can go from this momentary perspective in place of this is what I think is good right now in this moment, or this is what I think is bad right now in this moment, or feel is bad, feel is good. And yet, how do we know when we've landed on what's correct, what's actually good and what's actually bad? That's one of those questions that's just kind of roaming around in my mind recently, and roaming around in culture and thought. And I'm not the only one asking this, right? Well, I know I'm not alone. There are a lot of people out here asking what's good and what's right, and you're gonna say, oh, so he's a Christian, he's a pastor, whatever have you, and that means his standard of good is going to be different than my standard of good. His standard of bad is going to be different than my standard of bad. And there are certain things we can all agree on. For example, don't murder. You know, that's a pretty universal one. And yet there are some people that believe murdering is good. So how do you reconcile these two things? How do you take these two conflicting things and go, well, that's wrong to feel that way? How do you know that? What if murder was good? And that's what I'm getting at here is, obviously there's something inside you right now saying, oh, that's not good. Murder is not good, and we know that. It ends a human's life, and that's a potential person to be a good person. Well, they're a bad person, you say. Well, if they're a bad person, are they still deserving of murder? And if they are in your mind, then who are you to exact that justice? Who are you to be able to claim that? Are you better than they? How do you know you're better than they are? Well, I don't murder. Okay, so that's one way that you're better than they are. But what if they also only murder humans, but they love puppies? And yet, you're not a dog lover, for example, and you think puppies aren't deserving of life, and right? Like this is the kind of stuff where you go, wait, why? Why does this matter? When you start thinking about it, and it starts making you feel uncomfortable, and you go, I'm not sure I want to have to talk about this. I'm not sure I want to have to feel that. I'm not sure I want to have to think that way. That's fine. You don't have to. And that's one of the things I like about Jesus. He goes, hey, this is my standard, and if you don't like it, you don't have to. I don't know of many other religions that say, hey, we have a standard here. You can't be a part of us if you don't like one aspect. If you don't like one aspect of us, you can't be a part of us. Jesus doesn't say that. He just says, hey, this is my standard. If you don't like my standard, then you're not going to like me. And if you're not going to like me, then that's fine. I accept that. He'll be sad, and he's burdened by that, right? But it's not necessarily about this whole mentality of, oh, then you, for example, the religious leaders of any major religion would normally go, oh, I'm sorry, you don't like this one thing about our teaching? You don't like this one thing about what we do? Well, you're not going to be able to be a part of us. We're sorry. And at that moment, something in you should send up a little red flag. Like, oh, that means these people don't care about me as a person. They don't care about me. They actually care about their traditions, their philosophy of life, their way of doing things, more than they care about me as a person. Jesus doesn't do that. Jesus says, no, I love you. I love you as a person. But I'm not a fan of some of your behaviors. I'm not a fan of some of the way you do things, or some of the things you do, just period. And he'll call you out on that. He'll be like, hey, so if you say that you're interested in me and what I have to offer, but you're not interested in what I want for you for life, then you're gonna have to have some conflict there. And he'll still say, I love you as a person. If you don't do these behaviors, well, that's going to be a rough road. And here's how you can know that's going to be a rough road, because people have already done it. People have already done that path, that way of life. And you can look at history and you can say, look how well that turned out. And now you're like, oh, wait, that didn't turn out so well for them. So I need to learn from that person's example and their mistakes and keep moving. This is one of the things I like about the Bible as a total book in itself, is that we've got all these people in history that all of a sudden they start finding out who God is. God encounters them right where they're at and who they are, and God says, I'm not going to leave you where you're at. I'm gonna pick you up, I'm gonna take you, and I'm gonna say, hey, if you're interested in what I have to offer, I'm gonna change you, I'm gonna make you better. And these people often go, sure, I might be willing, but you gotta do this for me or that, and I wanna make a deal, right, with God. We all try to do that at some point. We all try to make a deal. If we believe in a God out there somewhere, we try and make a deal, right, like some genie. And God's going, hey, no, that's not how I work. I'm not like those other gods, those lesser gods. I don't do that. And next thing you know, you're finding out how he works and how he does things, and you have to go, am I okay with this? Is this really a God I want to follow? Is this really something I want to serve? And for a lot of people in this world today, that answer is no. Once they find out who God truly is, okay, I can get the I love you part, the you as a person part, but I don't want to follow anything you do, then God says, fine. It's going to make me sad, and it's going to pain me. And it's not about the grief, it's not about the guilt, it's about the fact that you're just denying me as your creator. And that makes me sad. It's like a parent, the perfect parent. Whatever that word means to you, whatever feelings you've got there, that word parent should mean something good. And it should be a good person. And it should be somebody who loves you. And they're going to love you to the point where if you don't even want to listen to them, if you don't even want to spend time with them, then they're going to be sad. They're going to be hurt. And it's the empathy portion of that. It's not about, I'm going to make you feel guilty. It's not about the righteous vengeance of God. No, it's about the, okay, kiddo, that makes me sad. But I love you anyway. I want you to know that. And so we start getting on all these topics and all these mindsets and all these thoughts. And I know, again, I'm just musing here. This isn't a set thing that I'm thinking on, talking about, but really it's this topic of good and bad in our culture, I guess, is this overall theme for this video. And I know there will be more to come. I don't know exactly how long to make these, so I think 10 minutes is a good time length, good window. And if you like what you saw, I'll be producing more. Whether you like, subscribe, or comment or not, I'll still be creating stuff. That's part of my goal in doing this. So you're loved. Know that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Bye.